June 4, 1942. Somewhere over the vast, blue expanse of the Pacific, in the cockpit of his stubby, outclassed fighter, Lieutenant James Jimmy Thach is about to die. His instrument panel is a frantic blur. In his rearview mirror, not one, not five, but 20 of the deadliest fighter aircraft in the world, the Japanese Mitsubishi A6M Zero, are closing in for the kill. He is alone, separated from his squadron. His guns are his only company. And his only hope for survival is a theory he sketched on a piece of paper months before, a desperate, unproven dance in the sky. This is the story of the pilot who fought 20 Zeros alone, and in doing so changed the face of aerial combat forever. To understand the desperation of that moment, we must go back. In the early days of World War II in the Pacific, one aircraft cast a terrifying shadow, the Japanese Zero. It was a predator, incredibly agile, long-ranged and flown by battle-hardened, samurai-blooded pilots. To Allied pilots, it seemed invincible. It could outturn, outclimb, and outmaneuver anything the U.S. Navy could put in the air. And what the Navy had was the Grumman F4F Wildcat. Don't let the pugnacious name fool you. Pilots called it the Iron. It was tough, reliable, and well-armed with .450 caliber machine guns. But compared to the Zero, it was a lumbering beast. In a straight-up dogfight, a Wildcat was a sitting duck. The tactical doctrine was broken, and one man, Lieutenant Jimmy Thach, a seasoned pilot and a natural tactician, knew it. The solution wasn't born in a high-tech laboratory, but in the quiet confines of Thach's quarters. Frustrated, he began to obsess over the problem. He used matchsticks on a table, moving them like aircraft. He knew the Wildcat couldn't turn with a Zero, but it was a stable gun platform, and it could dive better. He needed a way to cancel the Zero's advantage. And then it clicked. A beam defense maneuver, a weave. Thach took his idea to his squadron, fighting 3. The reaction was mixed. Some saw its genius. Others saw a complicated maneuver that could lead to mid-air collisions. But Thach was relentless. He drilled his pilots endlessly. They practiced over the Gulf of Mexico, until the weave became muscle memory, a fluid, instinctual dance. They were preparing for a moment they knew was coming. That moment arrived at the Battle of Midway. On the afternoon of June 4th, Thach led his 6 Wildcats as the sole fighter cover for torpedo bombers targeting the Japanese fleet. As they weaved through a wall of anti-aircraft fire, Thach looked up. The sky, he would later say, was speckled with a mass of aircraft. A swarm of Zeros, fresh from decimating another American squadron, fell upon them. They were outnumbered more than 3 to 1. In the chaos of the first pass, Thach's formation was shattered. He looked around. He was alone with his wingman. And then he saw them. 20 Zeros stacking up in a long, descending line, preparing to pick them off one by one. "Stand by to weave on my command," Thach radioed to his wingman. The first Zero dove. "Now weave left." The 2 Wildcats turned into each other. The Zero pilot, expecting a evasive break, was suddenly trapped. Thach's wingman fired a burst. The Zero, caught by surprise, flashed past, but another was already diving. "Weave right!" Again the turn, the cross, the fleeting shot. It was a relentless, whirling ballet of death. Thach's world narrowed to the cockpit, his wingman, and the endless stream of Zeros. He could see the confused reactions of the Japanese pilots. Their supreme advantage, their agility, was being used against them. Every time they lined up a shot, the crossing Wildcat would spoil it and line up a shot of its own. The lumbering irons were holding their own against the finest of the Imperial Japanese Navy. Thach himself shot down 3 Zeros, confirmed in that engagement. His unproven theory, born from matchsticks and frustration, was working. It was saving their lives. Thach and his wingman survived. They landed on the crippled USS Yorktown, their aircraft riddled with bullet holes, their fuel tanks nearly empty. They had done the impossible. The news of the Thach Weave spread through the U.S. Navy like wildfire. Here was a proven, battle-tested tactic that neutralized the Zero's dominance. The impact was immediate and profound. The Thach Weave became standard doctrine for every Wildcat and later Hellcat pilot in the Pacific. It instilled a new confidence. The Zero was no longer a mythic, invincible foe. It was a deadly enemy that could be outthought. The Weave saved countless American lives in the hard-fought campaigns of 1942 and 1943, from Guadalcanal to the Solomon Islands. It was a key component in the U.S. Navy's eventual air supremacy. The story of Jimmy Thach is more than just a heroic dogfight tale. It is a testament to the power of ingenuity over pure might. In an era where we often look to technology for solutions, his story reminds us that the human mind remains the ultimate weapon. He looked at a superior enemy and didn't see an obstacle. He saw a puzzle. And with a simple, elegant maneuver, he helped turn the tide of the Pacific War. The Thach Weave is still taught in military academies today, a fundamental lesson in tactical problem solving. So the next time you see a modern fighter jet streaking across the sky, remember the two pilots in their stubby Wildcats, dancing with 20 zeros over an endless blue sea, proving that even in the face of certain death, a great idea can be the best armor of all.